is the J.R. Hendrick Takes and Gentlemen, the podcast that deals with the early life of J.R. Hendrick in a narrated format. So let's join in on the journey. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. We're doing this quite a bit early because JR is going to be leaving Friday morning for convention in Waco, and our special episode, which will be done Sunday night, convention call and bridal chorus will be done by myself and JR's good friend Stoney Rosen. But here's JR. Hey everybody, welcome. Today's topic is can there be considerations to prepare for the American dream? Okay, so we're back on the 31st of May, 96. It's 5 p.m. Jim calls Betsy from the jet. Betsy tells him that her Southwest Airlines flight would leave for Flagstaff at 6:05 p.m. Central Time. Okay, so it's 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Jim and Gordon get off the jet, and Betsy runs into her husband's arms. You don't know how much I miss you. I really need you around, Betsy said, almost crying. Look at it this way, honey. August, come hell or high water, you will come back to me in early August. Because I care for you, Betsy. You. Promise me, when I get back, you won't cheat anymore. I'm done, Jim said. Okay, so it's 10 p.m. Mountain. That doesn't even sound right. Sounds like 7 p.m. Mountain. Yeah, it sounds more like it. Jim and Betsy, Gordon and Barbara, and of course Jim's dream team arrives at the mansion in Flagstaff, Arizona, that Jim had received in a codicil from his father's will after his Aunt Eunice's death. See, the codicil... Well, JR, you explain. Unbeknownst to me, Daddy and Aunt Eunice were pretty close. Aunt Eunice was Mama's youngest sister. Okay, so she attached a codicil to his will, to her will, to be read after her death. And that's where he got the mansion in Flagstaff. What has become of that today? Mama sold that to Uncle Carl. I didn't know this until many years later. But arriving at the mansion, was a tearjerker moment, even for Daddy. The only time I ever saw him cry was when I was at the ranch one day and saw him holding Christine in his arms. When she was a baby, for the most part. He got all stoic. And that was from Grandma Mary's side of the family. Grandma told me that Grandpa Hendrick was very passionate, very emotional, and in rare occasions, because of his Italian roots, very hot-tempered. And of course, ironically, Claude meets him at the door. Inside was Carl and Donna. You said you wouldn't come around here, Jim said. Had to get away from Janet and that kid. That damn woman spoils like that kid, like it deserves to have free apple pie to date. I'm here because the company is having me spy out some oil, Carl said. Donna and I fly back to Salt Lake tomorrow afternoon. Now, of course, 9 p.m. that night Central, at the ranch, JR and Kevin are talking for a few minutes before going to bed. They're talking about how cousin Bobby is going to be out with them in a boat tomorrow morning. He had just arrived yesterday. So, there we go. Oop. Shouldn't have done that. We gotta get back Google Drive. Alright. Just take some patience. Here we go. June 1st, 1996. 6:30 a.m. JR, Kevin, cousins Bobby and Joe, Elizabeth Marie, and Dave Smith are out on Lake Thomas fishing. The family cook has brought fried eggs and biscuits and sausage for the family to enjoy on the boat, along with some orange juice and water. Okay, 9 a.m. Mountain. Jim is speaking at a Republican rally, speaking on behalf of Congressman Tom Vincent. An arch-conservative member of the John Birch Society. Jimmy had formed an alliance with him in January of that year. 11:30 a.m., the Hendrick party arrives home from the rally, and they are treated to a massage by the pool. Tonight the dinner was going to be at the Sugarland Steakhouse, which was first established in Albuquerque, New Mexico, in June 1941 by Ray and Melissa Eldridge. In 1975, they sold out to a major consulting company called Delectables. The franchise spread into New Mexico, Oklahoma, Texas, Louisiana, Florida, Alabama, and the Bahamas. Jim had received Eunice's will along with the Cobblestone Mansion. It's $3 million in gift certificates for the steakhouse. Now, 1 p.m. Mountain Time. Already tired from the early morning activities, Jim and Betsy decided to go into their basement master bedroom to go take a nap. 3 p.m. Central. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, JR is sitting in the mansion writing a cover letter and emailing it along with the manuscript to David Farmer Publishing in Midland, Texas. Thomas and Max are taking a break for a few minutes. But earlier this morning, they had one of the senior ranch hands go pick up some Angus cattle from an auction in Amarillo. Okay, so now we cut to, this is obvious, 5 p.m. Mountain. This is in Flagstaff. At the steakhouse dinner, dinner is served, and Jim is relishing in the company of his wife and his dream team. For the first time being out of Washington, D.C., he's been able to finally enjoy himself. Anyone can imagine. Now it's 7 p.m. Central. This must be at the ranch. Meanwhile, okay, no, this is where JR's current wife, who would be his future wife, is being called into the house by her father, James Bocino Jr., because Grandpa Martino wanted Saturday evening prayer before church with sacrament meeting and Sunday school and third hour meetings. It's back before church went back to 2 hours in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Now it's 9 p.m. Mountain. The party arrives at the mansion. Bone tired tomorrow. Jim is sending his dream team away to Washington, D.C. to strategize for his next political rally in Cleveland, Ohio, 2 weeks from now. Okay, so there we go. Some good stuff here. And I gotta say, though, as we get deeper into this episode, there's going to be some heavy stuff that shouldn't be going on. But we're now on the morning of the 2nd, 6:30 a.m. At the ranch, the family sits down at the dinner table, minus Christine, who's obviously staying late. And Christine and Elizabeth Marie says, okay, so those blueberry muffins for most of you guys. Bobby, since your nutritionist put you on a diet, you got some blueberries. And Bobby says, 195 pounds. And my doctor tells me I have to lose 28 in order to compete in prep school football, Bobby said. I'll tell you, when the holidays come around this winter, I'm going into a sugar coma. And Elizabeth Marie says, it's been so long since I've seen you, Elizabeth Marie said, giving her brother a kiss on the head. Now, something you need to know. In the customs of Jim's family, even though it's a German last name, they cling to a maternal side somewhere that's Italian, where they kind of kiss each other on the head. Those headlines, I tell you, what you know, Bax, Bobby? My daddy is getting a beating, Kara said. It's not fair. The way the tabloids are crucifying him. And Phil later, my dad says the Swiss Mafia pays for some of the grunt work on those Renaissance weekends. And Bobby said, and Elizabeth Marie says, anybody want any soda? Elizabeth Marie said, Cousin, I got some from the machine outside, Gerald said. Ice cold lemonade, sis, Bobby said. Anyway, what was he talking about? Oh, yeah, the tabloids. You know, the lady that holds the society page used to have parties here with my parents in this house. And the way she trashes Daddy, it's a shame. Have you ever talked to Dad? He knows an attorney that can sue the pants off this witch for libel, Bobby said. Can't think of it that way. I still have mass communications law knowledge, and libel is hard to prove, seeing that Daddy is a public figure. Okay, 8:15 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time. Jim and Betsy sit down at the Way Baptist Church, where the pastor is talking about water baptism being only a symbol of your salvation and following of Jesus Christ, but not necessary. Baptism is not necessary. We're not going to turn this into a doctrinal thing because, well, it's a political podcast. 1 p.m. Central. JR hadn't been back from church for an hour when Carmen, having dropped him off, and so now he's sitting on the patio talking to Kevin McDonald. You know, I start at Senator Phil Graham's office tomorrow, Kevin said. Bright and early. All I will tell. At the office, waiting for a possible rejection letter and possibly make a few phone calls for Hendrick Foods, Jared said. That's good. 3 days ago, you were sitting in the cellar about to drink object of mine until your sister tells you to go upstairs into the living room to talk to Kristen. That's a lot of guts for Christine to do that. Because right now, she's not too happy with you. I can get past Kyle. What you're doing now, waking up bummed up with a hangover because he parties too much, last night. And he has 2 kids of his own right now. Something's up. Okay, so it's 2 p.m. Mountain Time. With all of the Dream Team gone, they were Flagstaff. Gordon and Barbara Deckard are at a special Bible function. So Jim and Betsy, they're in the living room of the mansion kind of dancing. 7 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time. Jim takes a phone call from Constantine Bush, who is concerned about what he's doing politically. Also, Constantine is concerned about what the tabloids have been saying about him. But generally, Jim assumes him that it's only a whispering campaign from gossiping liberals. That can be possible. Okay, so it's obvious it's the next day. It's 9:15 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time. Southwest Airlines flight 603 with Betsy taxis down the runway and departs from Flagstaff, Arizona, bound for Midland, Texas. Okay, 1 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time. In Flagstaff, Jim is sitting in the home office, the vacation home that once belonged to his father. In the summer of 1984, Ryan and Rita Hendrick took their families of children to the house in Flagstaff. And Carl and Max and Donna and Jessica were there later on that summer. Carl's family would join Jim and them for a vacation to Lake Texoma. Now, in the summer of '84, Ryan Hendrick was enjoying himself. But he has a hunch he knows he's dying, okay? He knows he's dying. Now, it's 3 p.m. Central. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, JR and Kevin are swimming in the indoor pool. Kevin's internship ends at 11:40 every morning. And so they're swimming. And before lunch, they rode the 2 horses. Early that afternoon, Carmen had taken JR to Swank and Suede to get a new suit and dress shoes. Jim had hired Valerie like Carmen since college because, well, they knew that he and Betsy wouldn't be able to keep an eye on JR with how they dress, and, well, quite frankly, neither Daddy nor Mama had the patience. 7 p.m. Mountain Time. Jim was having dinner with Dominic Martino, a businessman and special assistant to Senator John Kyle. Dominic was interested in JR's interest in Hendrick Foods. Jim said that Hendrick Foods was not for sale, but that perhaps a distribution partnership with Procter and Camp, the foods company located in Louisville, Kentucky, could take place. Martino owned it. This was to be a sign of things to come. Later that summer, I had no idea that my daddy was working on the biggest setup for me to gain more profits. Okay. So now we are on June the 4th, 6:30 a.m. Donuts from La Gonzala is for breakfast as the family sits down at the ranch for breakfast. A conversation. And so Thomas, he says, Bush was a much better president. He says, why else would Granddad have Uncle Jim's stump the country for Bush? And Betsy speaks up. She says, I'll tell you what, I enjoyed it better when Jim was back here, back home, no Nashville, and no chasing power. But I also understood why Daddy had a sense of history and wanting to protect this country. And Elizabeth Marie says, well, I feel the same way, Aunt Betsy. I care about this country. And eventually, I want to do something in politics. And Elizabeth Marie says, well, that's what I told Jim. But see, when Jim comes home, we're going to see what he can do about finding you something to do. And Gerald's like, you were engaged to that copycat. Laughing eyes. I honestly think that you're a hell of a lot smarter than him. And you can find a wonderful career somewhere, Gerald said. And Elizabeth Marie says, I'm never going to forget that. 4 years ago, we went that summer going around colleges, stumping for Bill Clinton. You did some good things, but it was a mistake. You got that right. JR said. You have a mission, girl. We need to put you in the big time. I don't know if you heard anything about the Congressman Bill Hume. No, it's Bobby. I don't know if you heard anything about that Congressman Bill Hume. There's no point to his arguments. Hope Jim gets him unelected, Bobby said. And Kevin McDonald says, he's a libertarian, right? Junior told me all about him. Said, owns all this money, but yet he's so perverted and twisted. Okay, so it's 8 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time, and the mansion in Flagstaff, Jim is having a business breakfast with Gordon Deckard and his wife Barbara. The servant Courtney had set up them this. Courtney, one of the consultants, had set them up to speak at a Republican fundraiser that night. Okay. So, 9 a.m. Central. Bored of staying inside the ranch, JR decides to go ride Bandit at the suggestion of Betsy. Of course, Cousin Bobby also selected the horse to go riding with him. Now it's 1 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time at the mansion in Flagstaff. Jim is sitting by the pool when this woman approaches in jeans, pantsuit, and walks towards Jim. I never thought I'd see you again, the woman says, sitting down next to Jim. Tell you, what the devil are you doing here? Jim said, bristling. Have a concert in Flagstaff. Plus, I heard that you had a rally here Saturday. What are you doing here? Question is, where is Betsy? You need her. Every once an item. Don't tell me you don't miss our relationship. Okay, Jim is about to lose it. I broke it off when I saw your record sales drop. And other producers. Coaching on my time. Yeah. If there was anyone I would have left Betsy for, it would have been you. But then I thought of my kids. Oh, Jim. Jim. No, you get the bell for that. I mean, seriously. He was thinking about leaving his wife. Yeah, better go get schooled. And she says, come on, have sympathy. I'm divorced from Darren LaForge. Hamad Koenig. He dumped me as a producer last year. It's because of that team that I found a new producer. Yeah. I knew when you were falling in love with him. So do me a favor. Get out of my sight. Okay. 2 p.m. MDT. Jim is reading the Fort Worth Times when he sees an article about Congressman Hume talking about working with entrepreneurs to provide mental health for employees. Jim is intrigued but not interested in anything. Suddenly, Jim gets a surprise visit from Rusty D'Angelo, a member of the Dixie Mafia, part of the Powers family and Mafia in Texas. Used to cut a deal with you, an old man. An old man Swain, Rusty said. What makes you think I want to cut a deal? Jim said. Mr. Hendrick, I think you need to wake up and realize that you're playing with fire. You played with fire back in 1976 when you did that deal. When you did that offshore deal with Constantine Bush and had a falling out. Again in 1984. You cut a deal with this country singer who came to see you. And you know what happened. You lost millions. Now you're getting ready to exit out of your position. And it looks like you're heading for a fall. Tell me what you know. Your immediate past supervisor, Phil Later? Yeah. So what? Is there in some information I need to know? And Rusty's about to lose his temper, okay? He's stomping. Oh, for Pete's sake, Hendrick. His father is all locked up. Why do you think he had a real estate attorney to sell his father's home? The Swiss Mafia tore up the 40s and 50s in Brooklyn. And Phil's father was part of the financial schemes Did you get attacked like that again? Start using your media sword and fight dirty, not subtle. Let me tell you something. If he came around my neck of the woods, talking the way he talks to you, I have to cold cock him and knock him flat. Nobody messes with anybody affiliated with the good families of Dixie. Just don't go mess around with the likes of Claude Ritmo. Okay. 4 p.m. Mountain. Jim is having a meeting with political strategist Ray Molina, who had worked to put John McCain in the Senate. Mary Landrieu, elected in the Senate in 1990. And now, Molina was working in the campaign of Ross Perot. Molina was a conservative libertarian and development and a devout member of the Assemblies of Christ. Okay, 6 p.m. Central. This is a good moment here. JR is called to living room by Betsy to read a letter he got from Dave Farmer Publishing. Dear Mr. Hendrick, congratulations. We are pleased to inform you that we have accepted your submission for publication. And we will know that you know that thereby today your manuscript is published, as is with set forth with a fighting forward with the founder of West Magazine, Henry Luss. Your agent has requested that 1,996 copies be sent to your address toward the end of the month. It is an honor to welcome you to a team of premier conservative books to be published among brilliant authors in the West Texas area. Again, congratulations. Sincerely, David Farmer, President and CEO of Dave Farmer Publications. Both Betsy and Thomas rush over to hug JR. Let me love your neck, Thomas said. You inspire me for the way that you hustled for that book. Congratulations. If only your daddy could be there to see it. Well, then, Mama, let's take a picture. That way he does get to see it. Alright, let's get back to drive. This is going to be interesting here, because now, you be patient here. some of the heavy stuff is going to be here. 5 a.m. Central. Betsy is in the South 25 collecting some eggs from the chickens. You know, I enjoyed myself more around this ranch than I ever did with him in Washington, D.C., Betsy said. You know Jim is going to want you back with him and Betsy, Thomas said. I know. And he and I are going to talk about that this weekend in El Paso. Okay, so it's 6:30 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time. Jim and the Deckards are having... they decide to have second eggs at Barner's Steakhouse, a chain of steakhouses in the Southwest, where Christian music is being played, along with gospel music. Make a statement, Jim. Come out strong. Don't go out quietly and gracefully, like your friend Claude. Might want you to, Barbara said. I love Claude dearly. But the problem is, I think sometimes, he'll cut a deal with a snake. I'm not sure how much I trust Andy Braddock anymore. He won't return my phone calls. The problem is like that from here on out, the deal is between me, you, and Avery Cummington. You can't cut your DC connections entirely. As long as Claude is married to his young bride, he's not going to be thinking, wrestling about cutting too many deals with you, Gordon said. Okay, so it's 11 a.m. Central. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, Betsy is taking a break from her duties, and she's on the phone with her friend, Fern. Can you believe it? An auction at Sotheby's of some of the things owned by John Lennon, Betsy said. Why, I want to go to that auction. But when it comes to cash, Dave right now, he's being a jackass, Fern said. Criticize your husband all you want, but I miss Jim, Betsy said. If he was back home, he'd say we go to that auction and buy that stuff. Rich people talk. Okay, this is where it gets heavy. 1:30 p.m. JR and Brad bring Kentucky Belle to the apartment. Along with Karen's usual. You really need to eat something, girl. You're down to 85 pounds, Brad said. I'm afraid he's going to leave me. Karen said. Karen, you're being unreasonable, Brad said. Just eat this. And JR is like, let me just ask you something, Brad. Because it's all obvious. When was the last time that you were in love? Really in love? When was the last time that you were willing to do anything but keep the one you love? Thank you, JR, Kevin said. Finally, you have sense. I get enough of this from Dr. Michelle and Karen Latore from work. I deeply understand your concern, but Brad, leave it alone. Okay. I have to give Brad and Karen the bill on this one, okay? This is stupidness, and really this is more sign of things to come between Brad and JR. Okay, JR. This, no doubt, will turn into what was known as a hornet's nest about a month later, throwing up opposition between me and Brad, where we were once very good friends. 5 p.m. Central, JR and Brad are having dinner at the First Baptist Church and having the evening Bible study. Now, 7 p.m. Central, St. Joseph Patriarch Assemblies of Christ Church, JR had Carmen take him to the church to pray with Tim Newcastle. Let's sit down and pray quietly that your book sells good, Tim says. Amen to that, JR says. 11 p.m., back at the ranch, JR is upstairs, then when the phone rings, and it's Ken. I want you to know that I will be in town on Tuesday afternoon next week to see you for the rest of the month. Papa Bear is sending me there to work 4 hours a day on Monday and Wednesdays. Maybe Kevin or Thomas can take us fishing, Kim said. Good. Something tells me there may come a time when I need a break from Brad and Jim Bob. There's already some kind of disagreement between Brad and Karen. And I don't want to be a part of it. As you could tell, JR is pretty dang upset, okay? Well, it's par for the course. And it becomes ongoing until Daddy says, in May of 2000, since I'm running for Congress, Daddy says, dump them all. Okay, so it's 3 a.m. The next morning, Thomas and Max are out milking the cows and getting some bulls ready to be sent for at least six of the cattle for an auction in Fort Worth, and there's also going to be a rodeo in Fort Worth. Okay, so 6:30 a.m. Mountain Time. Jim and the Deckards are having a breakfast at the same steakhouse. When Em walks in, a female figure that Jim knew. Rusty sent me. I've been told that Keeping on having something done regarding Senator Cordell Wheeler. Katie, how the hell did you know? Come on. I'm a captain in the Powers family. And captains talk. I'm afraid we can't do anything about that. You'll have to go see Quad Ritmo. Gordon spoke up. Who's Quad Ritmo? Jim Bristle. Friend of a friend of a friend. Gordon, none of your concern. Jim, I'm your consultant and I'm your friend. If there's something wrong between you and Cordell Wheeler, you could have talked to me about it. Other than when he's working, he's shut up in the house and won't talk to me. He's an alpha male with an axe to grind against me. And I don't have to tolerate that. I appreciate y'all's concern, but I have to handle this my way and in my own due time. Okay, so it's 1 p.m. Central. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, JR is watching Starflight 3, The Search for Nemo, N-I-M-M-O, a 1983 movie that was directly a year after its prequel. JR was heavily immersed with it when Christine walks in. You just published a book. And now you just sit there. Parked on your pretty little fanny. watching your dorky programs, Christine said. You know what, Christine? Why don't you just make yourself useful? This morning, I fed and rode Bandit. I took out the trash and washed the golf cart. Now leave me alone. Junior, patience with your sister, Kevin said. There's no room for patience in this family, Kevin McDonald. Only competition. No, there's no room for patience in this family. Only competition. Just ask Daddy, Christine said. And another thing, I've already packed up for tomorrow. You want to go horse riding? Let's go horse racing. You want to have a swim race? Let's have a swim race. Otherwise, leave me alone. Get downstairs, Mike Fields said, motioning to Christine. Your mother needs you to juice the oranges. 2 p.m. Mountain. Jim is on the Blake Carter show, mounting up another attack against the Clinton administration. Okay. 3 p.m. Brad pulls into the drive to pick up JR. Horton is stuck sick in Oklahoma. But I think between me, you, Karen, and Dr. Michelle's family, we should be able to have a decent home group Bible study. Dr. Michelle wants to have the next Bible study on the night of the 11th. Because Thursday, she's going to be speaking at a pro-life rally in Santa Fe, New Mexico, Brad said. I'm telling you now, Brad, lay off Karen. I'm a weight loss. I don't like it any more than you do. But something you've got to understand. Go do anything to keep the one you love, Jared said. Just looking out in her best interest, kid. Now, let's go get us some early dinner at Bucky's Barbecue. 6:30 p.m. The home group Bible study is underway at Dr. Michelle's. Well, I finally got a phone call from Donald. He's agreed to meet me for a date all day Saturday. Breakfast, lunch at Jack Jordan's, ice cream, sundaes, and the movie, and dinner at Castilian, Karen said. Some friends of mine and Kristen's are picking me up tomorrow morning to go to this convention in Waco. I'm going to be with Kristen. Not too much sure about her business investments yet. Must be nice. Must be love, Brad said. If I didn't know any better, I thought you were jealous. Bernard, Doctor, if I didn't know any better, Brad, you must be jealous. Bernard, Dr. Michelle's husband said. Oh. He's just been repeating the same thing. Ever since, always just been repeating the same thing ever since grad school. He said the same thing when I was dating. And when my times had problems with Olivia Reynolds. You know, I hope he would move beyond that, Jarrah said. Okay, so I give the scores. I give this 3.2 root beers, an acceptance published letter, and 3 combination burritos from Kentucky Bell. Jarrah, 3.6 root beers, a publishing acceptance letter, and 3 combination burritos from Kentucky Bell, and a convention weekend in Waco. There you go, folks. Now, the next episode is a special one. Convention Bell, Stoney Rosen will be there. I hope you enjoy listening to this podcast. If you like what you hear, please subscribe. Become a part of the adventure. This is the James Hendrick Empowerment Network saying until next time, get ready for the rest of the story, because it gets a lot more interesting from here. Take care. God bless.